Ooh, it's October. Spooky season is here. And to get you through the scary season is none other than your absolute favorite podcast, Shoujo, with your co-hosts, Sarah, that's me, and Joe.
Ooh, I'm the ghost of Joe.
I'm trying to.
I have befall the terrible fate.
Ooh. We'll have to tell me what happened to you.
I am deceased for 4 weeks only.
Okay.
And then I'll be back to normal.
All the booberry.
I have a lot of updates.
Cereal you're
yeah. Oh man, I never get the
seasonal
Halloween cereal.
Yeah.
But I always see it because I don't eat cereal anymore, so I'm like, this would probably be a waste if I bought this. But I'm kind of like, ooh. Look at all these.
Frankenberry is where it's at.
Yeah.
That's my favorite of the trio. But
maybe
you
I should
like
just get them
Dracula,
and just have them.
So you should get Count Chocula.
Yeah, I should get Chocula. I do like chocolate the best out of all of those. Maybe I will anyway. I can make terrible financial decisions for no reason. It's only actually cereal's expensive now.
Everything's expensive.
The economy's in ruins.
Yes. Maybe there's a shitty knockoff version of it.
Knockoff of these Halloween gimmick cereals.
Yep. Maybe. Oh man.
Oh my god. Yeah, I've had stuff happen to me. I've had an eventful.
Ooh, tell us. Good, because I had almost nothing.
Oh, yesterday I got surgery on my finger.
What?
And they cut it open and took a thing out of it because I had a little growth or cyst or something in it. And it was not
gross.
It was not cancerous or anything, so it's totally fine. But they did do it, which was pretty neat actually, because they was oh yeah, I'm gonna cut this V because it's at the joint of a finger, so it's they gotta cut fan out from it, and then they were and they didn't put me under, right? They just numbed my hand.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the nurse because they had a nurse hang out with me while I was doing it, and we were just talking about oh, where are you from, that kind of thing. And then I could just hear the doctor being this bone's kind of sharp here. That's kind of weird, right? It's just yeah. So my bones are sharp.
Joe, ow! You were awake. Oh my god!
I was awake.
It was chill for me just with my blood getting drawn, let alone freaking hand being cut open. Oh.
I mean, I couldn't see it. They had a shield up. I can't watch them do it.
Oh, gross.
It was fun. I mean, it was actually turned out to be pretty cool. I don't know. It turns out I like medical stuff. It doesn't bother me needles. I watch myself get poked with needles because I'm cool.
Oh, okay. I'm stressed out just thinking about that.
Yeah, so now my hand is wrapped up, or my finger is wrapped up in
a little cast. Are your friends gonna sign
a big
it?
Gauze thing. No, it's not a hard cast. It's just wrapped. But that does mean I have one gigantic fat finger that is on my index finger, which makes it hard to type. Which means that this episode's descriptions, because I wrote them after I got the surgery, I used using the
voice
Office Dictation function, so it may be really weird. Let me tell you, Dictation not good at figuring out show's name is show and not the word show, show and tell. Oh, no. It's actually just pretty bad with all the names.
Shotaro instead, then. Oh my god.
Yeah. So we'll see what it's like when I read it.
So are you
to get through it.
Wolverine from X-Men Origins, so instead of the blades, he has bones coming out of his hands as his little claws?
It's not coming out of my hand. It was just he looking at my joint and he's kind of protruding there on the bone. That's weird. I'm gonna take a little sample and we can run it and make sure nothing weird's happening.
Oh, okay. Well, TBD.
So we got a little sample.
Keep us posted on that.
So
something weird.
That's my big life update. Is I got finger surgery.
Ew.
Pretty neat. And in other news, let's see. I finished all of Armored Trooper Bottoms. I did it. I watched all the OVAs. I have consumed all the Bottoms content.
Cool. So you don't have to hear about it again.
So you don't have to hear about it again.
Did you go see whatever that movie is in theaters?
Dude, I convinced so many people to come with me. No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It was showing on Wednesday and it's showing on Sunday. So this is the first Gundam, like Mobile Suit Gundam from the 70s compilation movie where they just kind of like cut the episodes of like the first like third of the show into like a movie compilation. And I think maybe they added some new animation. I don't know. But I'm going to that on Sunday. So I'm going to that tomorrow. Nice. And I have convinced like 4 other people to go with me. And I don't know if they're going to like it or not.
Probably not.
But they're coming. So I'm going to be watching so many movies in the next 2 days.
Oh, I'm seeing a movie on Tuesday.
What you watching?
It's called My Old Ass. It's some like comedy thing, but we'll see. It's mostly just an excuse to hang out with my work friend who is hard to pin down.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. It will be nice. Girl time.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fried pickles at the Alamo Draft House are incredible. You must miss the Alamo Draft House, right?
I do miss the Alamo Draft House. We have some cool, like, independent theaters here, but they're not, like,
Well, I'll have you know. Is this public information yet?
I don't know. Don't...
What?
You can, like, break an NDA on our podcast?
I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
It's
we have a couple cool ones here.
Okay.
They're not quite as, like, tongue-in-cheek funny, but they offer some cool, movie selections and stuff like that.
You'll be happy to hear Sony has acquired Alamo Draft House.
Oh, am I happy about that?
We'll see.
Are they going to wash it out? I don't feel like Sony acquisitions.
That's what my concern is. Maybe they'll just have faith that they're doing it right already. I just do not change the menu. I love that menu. We'll see. Right? My 18th birthday, I think we went and saw Spaceballs because they play like old movies like that sometimes, which is fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, movies. I haven't seen one in quite some time.
I have an Alamo in Indianapolis. I think I'd go there.
Shut up, Cricket. What are you barking at? Don't make me lock you up. Oh my God. Okay. I was like, here, let me think of the things that are eventful in my life right now. Freaking on Thursday morning, I woke up to the sound of like a crowing rooster or something in my apartment complex. Just like North Austin area. I'm like, that's not right. Is it like someone has a dog that just sounds like a chicken? And then that night, I saw a chicken hanging out on one of my neighbor's balconies. I was like, what the hell? I found the culprit.
Should they be doing that?
I reported them, so no.
Wow.
I don't want to be woken up every morning by a goddamn chicken.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my God. And I put in a complaint for my neighbors that like party every like once a month until 3 a.m. and wake me up.
Nice. Get them.
So yeah, I freaking ratting everyone out.
Cantankerous, yeah.
Well, that's what happens. You complain about my dogs when I get a new dog and she has anxiety, but that has now been quelled. I'm going to complain about everything. As retaliation.
Did your neighbors complain about your dog?
Yeah.
Wow.
Luckily, well, I don't know. Maybe maintenance staff will put it in good word for me though, because like the maintenance staff here loves me. I don't know. I guess everyone else just treats them terribly. And I'm like, why would you do that? They're here fixing your stuff.
They do kind of important stuff, you know?
This is like the benefit of renting is that I don't have to fix these things.
Right.
So, and I know they go in and out of the leasing office, so I should be fine. I think they even fixed my carpet thing for free. They might not have. I don't know if they reported that or not, but they love me. And they're well, my apartment is certainly memorable with all the posters.
Yeah, that's pretty, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting neighbors.
Yeah. Oh God, don't. Because I've lived at this complex before, in a different part of it. But I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I'm starting to think someone might just straight up not be going to the dumpster and just throwing their trash out their patio or something. Because I'm like, where is all this trash coming from? So I'm going to be like looking at the freaking, if it's like mail, I'm going to look at the address and see if it all is the same apartment that is this trash is coming from. Because it's pissing me off. Like embarrassing to be in an apartment complex where there's just litter everywhere.
Yeah, my neighbors are weird too. Sometimes, like, it doesn't happen that often, but like I have had very bizarre things happen to me in this apartment complex, and I live in a kind of nice apartment complex.
Yeah.
So it's like, why is this happening? People just like get DoorDash and it just gets left out there for like a day.
That's right. I saw
and
that.
I'm like, why would you buy this? What are you doing?
Yeah. Because
people get like milkshakes and it just sits out there and it's like I look at the next day and it's still there. I'm like, what is happening?
Remember seeing that. Yeah, because my
weren't you expecting to get this food?
Old and individual buildings, but yours is like one of those new ones where it's all internal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then one time
I was gonna say when I stayed there, your neighbors were like rearranging furniture or something in the middle of the night because they are so noisy.
Oh yeah, I just kind of tune it out. There was a time when I would hear like somebody under me or something have like a domestic dispute every weekend, and I'm like,
God.
should I call somebody? But it was just yelling, so I don't know. Who knows?
I know. I've also been like, my last apartment that I was in, I was like, what is like the chick? Like a week after I moved in, she basically like had her car full of random crap and moved out. And I was like, oh, okay, good. They won't be fighting anymore because she's gone.
Yeah, those people are gone too.
I know. I've had like, because my apartment complex said, oh, if you hear loud party people, just call the cops next time. I was like, that seems drastic. Like,
yeah, that's like a step up.
Yeah. I've heard like, I'm just like, who talks to each other like that? I have never raised my voice, but I'm also a quiet, angry person. Like, I seethe silently.
The worst thing that's happened to me in my apartment complex, I think I've probably told you this before, is it's like a big building, right? And it's also mostly inside, which is nice because in the winter, it's like, oh, I can just like take a walk through the building, right? And like I'll do it because I work from home, so it's like, oh, I just need to go take like a 5-minute break and I'll just like go walk around. So I'll just like put in headphones and walk around. And one time I like walked out of the stairwell and just like opened the door and turned the corner and I stepped in dog poop inside the building on the floor. That's carpet.
That is
and I'm like,
awful.
Did someone's dog just like just like poop on the floor inside the apartment complex and they didn't do anything? So I had to like go and clean off my shoe. It was like, it was
sounds
terrible.
about right.
Like, I can't believe this happened.
No one picks up here and it's, yeah,
this was inside the building.
That's
I'm like,
absurd.
I guess this is, I don't look at the ground when I'm walking inside, but maybe I should.
Was it like
I don't
small?
know.
Like it would have been.
No, it was like a large
landmine.
Yeah, but it was like right outside the door. So it's like I opened the door and stepped out and stepped in it. I'm like, what the heck is this?
I don't know. Maybe some jackass is like letting their dog just free roam in the hallways and then they come back or something.
Ugh.
Gross. Well, you would think your place would be more like strict and stuff. My place is like old dumpy apartment. So it's like to be expected, but yours is like new and working.
People are dumb.
Yeah.
People are just morons. I don't know.
For sure. Speaking of morons, talk about.
Is there a lot of more? I don't know if there's a lot of morons in this
she's
skipping
like,
episode.
She gets called an idiot by Ren, so
that's true, kind of.
And then well, let's talk.
All right, we'll get into skip beat.
Yeah, stage 10.
Stage 10. Okay, so once again, I do have to preface that I did do dictation for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading through it right now because I didn't really have time to read through it because I was like in between. Because when they numbed my hand, it like it numbed my finger, but it also numbed like the next 2 fingers. So it's like I really just couldn't use my hand yesterday. Now I probably could, but at the time I just like wasn't able to do anything.
That's like I got oh God, what's it called when they take a sample? I got like my skin cancer. I had like a biopsy done, and like my whole half of my head felt excuse me, felt numb. I was like, oh, like half my head's numb from this one little spot on my forehead. It is wild. Feels so weird.
Yeah.
So your hand is useless.
Right. So my hand was useless. Now it's better. Now I can feel the other two fingers. So it's just a big one that I can't do.
No sense.
It doesn't make no sense. It's just not the greatest of all time.
It's okay. I can fill in if there's any like weird. I like have this like the events of Skippy are so ingrained in my mind. I am confident, even if I didn't watch the anime, I could like discuss the parts we're talking about because I've read the manga so much. Okay.
Anyways. Well, I guess getting back into the little thing, should I talk about a voice actor in Skippy?
Okay. Who's it gonna be? Moko?
Yes, the voice of Moko is Riza Hayamizu.
Oh, I like that name.
Who I can't find like a ton, like, again, a lot of credits, but these are a lot of credits for characters that like don't have names. So I guess the biggest one is from Basilisk. She was the voice of Kagero. I've never seen Basilisk, so I don't know, but that's 16 episodes, so that must be somebody important.
That's the one where it's like a ninja guy and some pretty girl, right? I feel like
yeah.
For it.
Yes. Their second like known for credit on IMDb is Naruto as Ninja.Star Village Ninja, 2 episodes. So
okay,
she appears to do a lot of work that's like side
extras,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like she's in Chiharafuru as Shinobu's grandmother.
Okay, what? Oh my God, I love Chiharafuru so much. It's my favorite, one of my favorite animes ever. We shall cover it one day, and then we'll hear Moko again.
The Ancient Magnus's bride as Stella's mother, so maybe like mom coded here.
I guess she's kind of like angry, scolding sounding.
She's in Watamote as Tomoko's mother.
Oh my God! Okay, she's been typecast.
Playing all the moms.
Have you watched that show? It's kind of funny. Like this little gremlin girl who's like a total dweeb.
I think it's one of those things that like I'll see gifs of or like screen caps of, but I don't like
watch it.
I haven't like seen
like
the episodes.
You know it, yeah. That Ancient Magnus Bride thing might be one week. That's shoujo, I think. I
think so. I've seen that.
I don't know. Big skeleton guy is not very cute. Not doing it for me, but maybe
you don't like the big skelly man,
cowhead guy. No.
I'm trying to see what else. There's some other stuff I've never heard of. Never heard of Mischievous Kiss. Or
but anyways,
yeah,
so this is
but
like
I mean again, like a long thing. But yeah, this is one that she appears in more episodes than other stuff. She plays a character, or she plays several characters in Pokemon that I don't recognize.
Not Polygon like Ren.
Not Porygon. That's awesome. Imagine being the voice of Porygon. That would kick ass.
Oh my God, so good.
Yep.
Okay,
but
so
still active. So
Skippy,
there's always
crossovers. Immense.
Yeah, she appears to still be active, so plenty of opportunity. Cool. Anyway, Skip Beach Stage 10 is called The Blue of Her Palm. We open on an angry Moko getting out of the stretch Hummer limousine that they were in last episode, which I guess was a stretch Hummer, by the way. It wasn't just a limousine. It looks terrible. Yeah, it looks awful. Moko gets off and storms off as Kyoko calls out to her, but she doesn't turn around, and we get some internal dialogue that shows that Moko is frustrated because she has underestimated Kyoko up to this point and considers her a rival now as the OP plays. After the opening, President Lori tells Maria that it's time for her to go because this is around the time that she receives an email from her father that she should actually respond to this time. Maria is somewhat worried about what she's going to say, so she asks Kyoko what she talks to her dad about. Kyoko informs Maria that her father isn't around anymore. And Maria apologizes, and Kyoko's like, oh, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. It was a long time ago. And then Maria's like, well, okay, so like if your dad's not around, what do you talk to your mom about? And Kyoko thinks about her mom and how she abandoned her as a child and doesn't say anything. And Maria's like, is your mom also not around?
Yeah.
And Kyoko says no, she's around, but like, don't worry about it. Then Kyoko leans down and gives Maria some advice, saying that she should tell her father to come visit her, and if she says that, her father will certainly come. Maria is concerned that if she does that, her father could die in a plane crash, but Kyoko reassures her, telling her that won't happen because she is going to pray for his safety. Then Kyoko tells her that she will give her a human-shaped candle so she can pray for her father's safety, and reveals that she thinks that Maria has been trying to get into occult stuff, not so that she can get Rin to fall in love with her, but so that she can make her father love her again. And we get a flashback which reveals that that is the case. Maria leaves, and Kyoko thinks that her and her father will be able to mend their relationship because they both equally are invested in doing so, which is not something that can happen if only one person is invested in a relationship, kind of like the way that all of Kyoko's relationships have been to up to this point. President Lori asks Kyoko if she's really got permission from her parents to become a celebrity, like she said she did when she signed up for the audition. And if she didn't actually do that, then they're going to need to get her mom's approval before they can go forward. And he says that, you know, if there's some like family issues that she has, she should bring it up with him and they can figure out something to do, you know, together or whatever. Then we cut to a future point where President Lori is standing in his penthouse suite thinking about what Kyoko said after that and we get a flashback to the same conversation we were just in. Kyoko tells President Lori that her mom does not care where she is or what she's doing, so with that in mind, does she really need to get her parents' permission to do anything? Back in the present, President Lori thinks to himself that he couldn't ask any follow-up questions after that point, and then wonders that if her performance today in like the play rehearsal, where she said it is possible for a parent not to love her child, is like actually based on something personal that's going on in her life. Any thoughts about this scene? Before I move on to the next huge chunk of text.
Yes. Okay. In the manga, the president's like, he says that he said not necessarily to Kyoko in response. Not that he just didn't ask anything else, but he kind of said like, oh, maybe we can find a different way to do it. So slight differences. I mean, at least because this is like, there's so many moments in the show where it's like, okay, I like remember this page because it's like one of the like super high detail, like pretty full page images. Like, and they've done a pretty good job at making them look the same, except for this one where she like looks, because she looks like sad, and then there's like a little music shift when she's talking to the president. And I feel like the animation didn't linger on her face long enough to like indicate. It's just like a weird shift in tone, kind of.
Yeah. Like I get what's going on in this scene where it's like, oh, President Lori has to learn about Kyoko's stuff. But like, in terms of what's happening here, this guy sucks. I hate this guy. Like, who cares if she gets approval for her parents? This does not matter. She already told you that she did, so you have plausible deniability. You're not going to get in trouble. She's also already 17 or whatever, so, like, it's not like this is going to matter for very long anyway.
Yeah. It's not like
I'm still mad that he didn't pay his tuition, and then he's like, oh, did you not actually get your parents' permission? Like, what are you, a cop? Go away, loser. God, I hate this guy.
Oh. President Lori.
I mean, he doesn't do anything, but it's like, why even bring it up like this?
Yeah.
You could bring it up in a much more compassionate way than being like, oh, you might be in trouble. Like, fuck off. I don't like him.
Okay.
I need this story to end with her becoming the new president.
Well, maybe.
Lori dies in a plane crash.
Oh my God, poor Maria. Oh God. Maria's been through enough. She doesn't need to be losing her grandfather the same way she lost her mom. He wouldn't take a plane. He'd take like a freaking submarine or some weird mode of transportation.
That's true. He would do something weird like that. He'd take like a rowboat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is the end of the Maria arc. Like, this is the actual end of it.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk about it here.
Yeah. I mean,
any final thoughts?
See her a bit more, just kind of around, but yeah. I mean, well, right, we don't see how her father's going to respond, so we don't actually know if it's going to be all fine and dandy, or maybe he continues to be the worst dad. But Yeah, I mean, I like Maria. She's quite the intense 7-year-old.
Yeah. Very pretty mature. I do think it's like cute to be like, oh, you were actually into occult stuff because you're trying to get your dad to.
That was sweet.
You're trying to curse your dad into falling in love with you again. That's pretty good. Also, it makes sense to why she thinks you can like curse people to do positive things. You know what I mean?
She's at the beginning, she's like, only thought about it in negative ways.
Yeah, she's like, I don't think you can curse somebody to fall in love with you. And she's like, no, you definitely can. I also like that this is like the first instance where, and this is going to happen basically at the end of the last episode we cover, where Kyoko gives somebody advice and he's like, cool, so what am I supposed to do? And she's like, I don't know. I don't actually deal with this myself, but I just know this is what you're supposed to do.
Well, she should realize by now that the Love Me section is basically her just curing trauma, and she needs to follow through.
Oh yeah, like the Love Me section is the
you have to then have all the answers.
That we now talk about as like emotional labor, a thing that doesn't get like compensated at all. It is also a thing that's like delegated to women most of the time, and now she has to do it without any real compensation. And also the entire section is just made up of women. Oh, man. Crazy.
That's true.
I can't believe
should be
he's
like
not
a dude added to the department at some point.
Yeah. But we haven't seen any sensitive guys in this show. I wonder if we will.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's the most like, he's kind of just observant. You know what I mean? Like he never really has hearts to hearts to anybody, but he just pays attention.
That's true. It is showbiz.
I wonder if we will.
Kind of sucky dudes there, probably.
That's true. There also are only like 3 male characters in this show. So, but I wonder if we'll get any
Sawara. I like him.
But he's not sensitive.
Not sensitive enough. I do like him.
He's just like a dad. I'm just like, it's the dad guy who just like works a job.
Yeah. There's a good moment with him in a later episode we covered.
Okay. I'll get back to it then. We cut to Kyoko sitting in the stairwell, and she's looking at her blue rock gem again. That always calms her down, and she thinks about how it always calms her down. She's like, I love this rock. It always calms me down. After thinking about my mom. Behind her, Mr. Sawara shows up, and he's like, oh, hey, Kyoko. And he ends up startling her so much that she drops the rock, like, down 100 flights of stairs. It's one of those stairwells that, like, coils or whatever. So there's just, like, a big hole in the middle.
Yep.
We cut to the rock sitting at the, on the ground floor. And who would pick it up but Ren Saruga himself? He just leans over and is like, ooh, what's this?
And then
Ren turns... Yes, Ren turns to see a very frantic Kyoko rushing down the stairs with like her broken leg and everything, and she's like ramming herself into the wall because she can't stop her momentum.
Kyoko shaped holes in the wall for us.
Yes, she's bashing lots of walls in these episodes. He asks her why she's in such a hurry, and she says that she dropped her purplish blue stone that she keeps calling corn. Instead of giving it to her, he just kind of watches as she searches around frantically for it, shouting the word corn. Mr. Sawara follows her down, carrying her crutch, and asks if she named the stone corn, and Kyoko says that she didn't name the stone corn. The person who gave it to her was named Corn. And then we get a flashback. In the flashback, a tiny Kyoko tells us that when she was a young child, she would often cry and like be sad, but a local boy would make her feel better. And we get an image of her running to like the bank of a riverside where the boy is waiting for her, but the boy's face is entirely cast in light, so we can't make out who it is. His name is Corn, and he gave her a stone when he had to go away as like a memento of him. Ren hears the story and is very touched and also intrigued. And upon hearing it, he bends down and pretends to find the stone on the ground, even though he just had it in his pocket the whole time. Kyoko's relieved to have recovered the stone, and Mr. Sawara thinks to himself that he's never seen her smile quite so genuinely before as she has now when she has Corn with her. Ren asks her if she used to live in Kyoto, and Kyoko looks shocked that he would ask that question, and also that it's true, she did live in Kyoto. We get the eye catch, and then we cut back, and Kyoko says, yes, I did used to live in Kyoto, and Ren tells her that those stones are mined there and are often sold as souvenirs. She's shocked to learn the news that her precious stone is actually just some souvenir you could buy in a shop, and Ren tells her that she's very gullible, and maybe she should stop being so gullible because, you know, unscrupulous men can take advantage of her if she doesn't, like, if she just believes what they say. Then he comments that...
Well, because he just made that up. It's not actually mine in Kyoto. He just told her that story, and then she immediately fell for it, and that's why he's saying so gullible.
Right. Then he's like, oh, wait a minute. Did that guy you hate, did he trick you because you're so gullible? And then, like, did he dump you? And Kyoko is pissed off that they're even having that conversation. She's very angry, but decides not to say anything because every time she talks to him, bad things happen. So she just decides to keep her mouth shut. Rin admonishes her, saying that if there are going to be, like, rumors or people are talking bad about her or saying stuff about her, that she has to be able to deny them vehemently, or else she's not going to make it in showbiz because she's going to have a bad reputation because everybody just makes up rumors about everybody else all the time because show business is terrible. And honestly, she should already know that, you know, she should deny rumors and she shouldn't have somebody explain it to her. This makes Kyoko even angrier, and she decides that she's just going to exit the situation. So she turns away and just walks off and thinks to herself how she's just going to avoid Ren in person from now on, to avoid situations like this.
And are you gonna? And she does a gesture.
We don't see. She doesn't do the gesture in the scene, but she does. She does give him a thumbs down while walking away.
Yeah, so that's what they depict as, like, what she ends that encounter with is a thumbs down. But in the manga, it's like a gesture that maybe means, like, "F you" in Japanese or something. Because it's like in the manga, she, like, has her forearm, like, up with, like. And then as this, she was, like, pushing her other sleeve back. So I don't know what, like, that means, but
like it's like a shove it up yours kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Not just a thumbs down, like you're no good.
Yeah, it's so like a thumbs down, but this is clearly like she's flipping him off, right?
Yeah,
like
basically.
Yeah. We cut to Ren sitting in his car thinking about stuff as Yashiro shows up, and he's like, "Hey man, you seem to be zoning out." And Ren tells him that he's been thinking about stuff, including how, like, Kyoko has changed. Like, she sure has changed. And we get a cut of her walking down the hallway as she does the gesture. This is where we get the cut of the gesture.
Oh, yeah.
Then he thinks to himself that, after all, maybe he's the one that's changed. And we get the big reveal that it turns out that he was Korn from the flashback. Mm-hmm. It's Ren. Ren is Korn.
Best name ever.
Why was his name Korn?
It gets... I don't know that it gets... we get to the point where it gets explained in the anime, but I'll probably do like here's what kind of unanswered questions maybe at the end of our coverage that gets answered in the manga.
Okay, sure.
But
what do we think about this reveal?
Well, I knew it was coming. What do you think?
I find this to be unnecessary and kind of ridiculous.
I will say, it is. We'll, like, learn more about what the relationship between the two of them at that time was, and it's kind of more of, like, Kyoko's weird, like, delusions. So, like, there's more funny bits that come from it, because she's so gullible.
I guess it's just like it's more of just like a. You know, I liked their relationship. That you don't need to add that they were also childhood friends to this. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like unnecessary to, like, throw some tropes in there.
Mm-hmm. And why doesn't she recognize him?
Yeah.
And why is his name not Korn?
And why isn't his name Korn?
It's because it's not a real name.
You don't know that. Maybe it was.
Stupid ass name. Oh, man.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out, but I kind of groaned at this a little bit. Where I'm like, really? We got to, like, make him part of her backstory?
I guess
he can't just be a guy she met.
Is part of her backstory that the other main male needs some connection to her past as well.
Yeah, I mean, like,
he can see how much she's grown. Like,
I guess so.
Or something. I don't know.
It just feels like, because he's already seeing how much she's growing in real time, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know what this gives you. Like, it feels kind of goofy, and I don't know what advantage this gives you in terms of, like, their relationship.
I will say it's more like reveals more about Ren's past than hers. Like, it's a little blip kind of in her. It's more like a peek at his background. Which there's quite a bit. Yeah, which you'll never find out in the anime.
Oh, okay. It does feel like this just gives him the excuse to eventually fall in love with her kind of thing.
Well,
but
it's better than falling in love
see.
with Maria. Less likely to get that child predator label.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. He doesn't have a lot of, well, I'm sure he has many prospects. We don't get to see any of them on screen.
What, ladies throwing themselves at him?
Yeah, you'd think there'd be some rivals, there'd be some people trying to take the throne here, but I don't see it. The throne of his lap, you know?
He's unattainable. He's everyone's Kaze Hayat.
I do like how Ren just kind of seems to like not like any of the people around him very much.
It's just all very shallow interactions.
Yeah, he's just so into work. He just likes doing the work. I don't know. Yep. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to some point in the future where both Kyoko and Moko are now in the acting class that they have to pay for themselves.
Hung up on that.
Yep, they participate in the class. However, Moko has been avoiding Kyoko for some time, and Kyoko wonders why, because it's been like weeks since she's talked to her. Kyoko thinks this over in an elevator, and then two guys get on, and as a reflex from trying to avoid Ren all the time, she like ducks out real quick. And both the guys think that's really weird. Kyoko's annoyed that now her reflexes have like forced her just to like divert all of her commute away from anything that has people. And she just like got off this elevator, which didn't want to. And she's like, dang it, I need to like figure out a way to like fix my routine. She walks past Mr. Sawara, who is talking on the phone about how they need a replacement for somebody, and he looks over at her and thinks that he's going to have a request for the Love Me section to fill the slot. We cut to Kyoko bursting into the Love Me section locker room to find Moko, who is drinking water, and she like spits it all out because she's surprised.
No, because freaking Kyoko enters the room saying her first name without
and she also calls her Kanai.
Anything.
Yeah, she's like, Kanai, my friend.
She's like, excuse me, who said you could call me by my name?
Yep, and Kyoko thinks to herself how she always wanted to do that because she's never been able to have any girlfriends growing up in high school or anything because everybody was always jealous of her relationship with Sho. And, like, they all hated her. They were all resentful for her for it. Moko's like, what are you doing? And what's going on? And Kyoko tells her that they have a TV job as we do a cut to Moko telling the producer of the show that the Love Me section will take on any job, and then we see Kyoko being thrown into a chicken costume.
Bo, the chicken.
We learn that the replacement job is for Kyoko to be the chicken mascot of this TV show named Bo, because Moko refuses to do it because she's a serious actress and can't do gigs like wearing a chicken mascot costume.
I can't
Kyoko
see her doing it either.
No,
imagine her trying to be a chicken.
I mean, Kyoko seems willing to do it, but is also worried because this is her first time ever appearing on TV, and Moko's like, listen, you don't even have any lines. She's like, you don't have any lines. All you gotta do is gesture. It's fine. If somebody talks to you, just wing it. Whatever. And then they drag Kyoko off to be on TV.
Get it? Because she's a chicken. Okay.
Moko thinks to herself that she doesn't want to be friends with a rival, and that this will free them both up to pursue their own careers separately. The show starts, and it turns out it's some kind of like musical interview show called Kamagure Rock, and it's also hosted by like some musicians, and they interview musicians, and there's just like a chicken mascot. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, it's like a trio called Bridge Rock that are from LME. And I guess they're kind of an up and coming group.
I assume they're musicians, right? Because they're called Bridge Rock.
Well, like, why do they have time to host a show like this? Like, shouldn't they be like making music and performing and stuff?
It is weird to be like, it's a music show, but also the hosts are also musicians that are active. You know what I mean? Like, didn't they used to have like the MTV like shows or whatever where they interview people? But like the people hosting that were just like TV hosts.
Jockeys, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they're like that. I don't know.
I don't know that explicitly says they're musicians. I feel like it's just like they're just some group of boys who are famous.
Just
don't exactly know what they're famous for.
Yeah, maybe they're also
but like why would they be a group if they're not performing?
Yeah, there's 3 of them, which is a lot of hosts.
That's weird.
Well, whatever. This is the first episode, and the first guest on the show is none other than Sho Fua. It's Sho. He's here.
Yeah.
Kyoko sees this and freaks the hell out. We get a cut to backstage, and we learn from a discussion with Mr. Sawara that the sponsor of the show is a big show fan, and that's why he gets to be the first guest. Mr. Sawara thinks that because Kyoko is such a big show Fua fan that she's going to be freaking out under the costume and she better keep it together. However, we cut to Kyoko, who is freaking out under the costume because she hates show so much and thinks this maybe is the perfect opportunity to like humiliate him since she's in disguise and will be able to get away with some stuff. A stagehand brings her a giant basket of eggs and tells her to, bring it out to the hosts because they are requests and questions from the audience that they're going to ask Sho. And she sees this as the perfect opportunity for her revenge.
Yeah. Petty! Get it, girl! Love it.
She gives like a little monologue as she brings them out, being like, I'm bringing the ingredients for your downfall, Sho. These are the footprints of destruction.
It's little squeaky plush shoe. Yeah.
She has like squeaky shoes. Because this is like a big chicken outfit. It's like rotund.
It's cute. Cute chicken.
Yeah, it's pretty good. She brings him out and the interview asks Sho if he likes to watch TV. And he says, no, he doesn't really like to watch TV. And this pisses off Kyoko because she was always annoyed by how much he enjoyed TV, even though it wasn't very good. And
even
she thinks
her
about
at
how
the
she's going to
time
expose
with her
them.
blindness could tell how like lame it was that he was.
She brings out the eggs and thinks this is the moment that he is going to get his. Sho gets his first question, and the question asks what his real name is because the audience member who wrote it heard a rumor that he had a funny name. Sho freaks out because this isn't even information he entered in on his application or is like public in any way. So how would somebody know that he had a funny name?
Mm-hmm.
We cut to Kyoko looking menacing because she has replaced the questions with personal questions that Sho does not want asked about him.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks to herself that Sho's real name is Shotaro, written in simple Chinese characters, which I guess is embarrassing or something. I don't know. I didn't really understand this.
I don't think that was a thing they mentioned in the manga, so I don't know what that was. I just thought Taro was such like a basic, like almost old school sounding name, like Taro. I feel like that's an older, not current name ending.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
like in feudal
it's hard to believe that would be embarrassing though. But whatever. I mean, they're like children.
Show sounds cooler, I guess.
Yeah. She waits for his answer, but instead of giving and saying what his name is, Sho gets very serious and says his old name is something he gave up when he entered showbiz. And that's his ticket to admission into celebrity and fame, is to shed himself of his old name. And if he were ever to speak his true name, he would no longer be able to continue in showbiz, and thus he cannot do it. And the audience eats this up because they love how dramatic it is. Kyoko is dismayed that Sho gave such a good answer and falls to her knees in defeat. But then she thinks to herself that this is only the opening salvo of a series of challenges that will destroy him. She declares that he is about to enter the depths of hell as we cut to credits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yay, angry, vengeful Kyoko.
Yeah, she gets to be pissed off. It's great.
Yeah.
I love angry Kyoko.
That's right. I feel like the egg chicken premise is kind of lame, but I guess
it's crazy.
Japanese
this show is crazy.
Game shows are all kind of kooky like that, huh?
It's so weird because the show, the hosts are just dressed normal. Or they're dressed even like a little grunge. Like, it really does feel like an MTV interview thing, right? Like, even the logos kind of 90s grungy.
Uh-huh.
But then it's just Kyoko in a chicken outfit bringing out eggs.
Yeah, weird. I wonder what the duration of it is. An hour time slot? I don't know. Like, with how much is happening. I guess, but it
is live though.
Yeah, yes. So many chicks in the crowd. Yeah.
I'll go on to the next episode because we kind of just pick right off. Skip beat. Stage 11 is called The True Face of the Storm. We open on Sho wondering how somebody could have known to ask him a personal question like that, and Kyoko looks on menacingly. The next request is from an audience member saying that she heard a rumor that Sho used to play badminton in middle school. Sho once again is surprised and irritated that somebody appears to know something about his past, and keeps writing into the show about it.
Disclaimer.
The request continues.
He was not in the club. And in the manga, he's like, why does it keep starting with I heard a rumor again? Like, like mix it up. Kyoko, my God.
The request continues saying that Sho should show off his badminton skills by playing a game. The hosts are like, well, that's fun, but we don't have any of that stuff. And then Kyoko just brings out a racket so that Sho and Kyoko dressed as a chicken can play a badminton game, and declares that whoever loses has to do an embarrassing thing where they like strike an animal pose and spin around 3 times and say some stuff.
Did you watch this on Crunchyroll?
Yes.
Did you see a problematic subtitle situation when Sho was Okay, yeah. I was like, what is happening?
This show's old. It used to listen. People used to just say that. It's from 2008. Listen,
it's
people used
not
to
what they say in the manga either. He just calls it lame.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is how much like language has changed in the time.
I guess. I feel like you could like just change that easily enough. Like maybe they should be vetting old subtitles on their platform.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Anyways. I mean, it feels a little in character that Sho would say this because he sucks.
Yeah, that's true. I guess so.
Anyway, she brings out the stuff to play badminton, and now they got to play badminton.
They show her with 36 wins and him 0.
Yes, and because it turns out that Kyoko has played against Sho a lot as kids, and she always beats him. So she's like, finally, I'm gonna make him. He's gonna have to do this penalty for losing, and also he will suck at badminton, which will maybe be embarrassing for him. And we get a subtitle that says, "Thus begins the badminton match out of nowhere." Kyoko's confident in her badminton skills because she's won a lot of games against Sho up to this point. The match starts, however, and Sho is actually putting up a pretty good front, and Kyoko is somewhat surprised. Why is he still good at badminton? What's happening?
In the manga, it's like sheer will is keeping him from not. Like, he's like, I don't want to look lame, so I must, for the first time ever, be able to return a volley.
Yes. I mean, it seems like they play, like he has basic skills or whatever. He just can't do like anything advanced.
Well, I'm like, how good could she be if he's pretty bad and she's able to beat him? She never would have gotten good enough to beat anyone better.
I mean, she isn't a chicken suit.
It's a disadvantage. You gotta have a heat stroke in there.
Yeah, it puts her at a huge disadvantage. The fans watch this and are also surprised that Sho is good at badminton, and they start eating it up, and they love it. Kyoko is dismayed that this is not making him less popular, so she tries to pull out the big guns and does her special move where she kind of like spins the racket and then lobs the shuttlecock real high in the air. Kind of like, so like the sun gets in your eyes, and we get a flashback of Sho, of her doing this to Sho as kids, and he could never return it. And she says that she invented this mood so that she could make it harder for him because he was complaining that it was too easy if they just like rally back and forth.
And he had brown hair back in the day.
And he had brown hair. It turns out that Sho is getting this flashback in real time, and he like zoned out, so he thinks he's gonna lose the match. But it turns out that Kyoko accidentally lost because she hit the shuttlecock so hard it got stuck in the ceiling light.
Is that the name for it? I've never heard it. Isn't it just a birdie?
A birdie.
No,
that's a type of shot in golf where you like.
No.
You never heard shuttlecock?
No, racquetball. Ball. What's it called?
Racquetball badminton.
Badminton? Is that what?
Yes.
Birdie? I called it a birdie as a kid. Rackets and birdies. Okay, no, this is saying shuttlecocks. Okay.
Yeah, it's called a shuttlecock.
I hate it.
Wow, is it because it has the word cock in it?
Stop!
You don't like it?
She is a chicken though. No! Moving on.
Say shuttlecock right now.
I already said it once. Move on. Your mother's listening.
Oh my god, this is what it's called. It's an Olympic sport.
Is it?
Yes, badminton's an Olympic sport.
I don't watch the Olympics.
The Summer Olympics just happened.
Well, I didn't watch.
Wow.
Except for when that one guy pulled out a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Get it, my dude.
We love anime references at the Olympics.
Yeah. Anime's cool now. Okay, continue.
They cut to commercial, and Sho thinks that the only person who would know his name and knows that he hates badminton could be Kyoko. It's got to be her, right? Like, because they'd have to know me from, like, middle school, and also they'd have to know I play badminton, and I only ever played with her.
Yeah,
he tries to go confirm his suspicions. I know.
Oh, she did not think that through.
He tries to confirm his suspicions. However, he's stopped by his manager, who says they need to like do makeup or something. He has to go do something, and he's dragged off before he can make contact with her.
Shoko, the manager.
Uh-huh.
If anyone's a child predator, possibly.
That's true. She's the closest to reality.
Mm-hmm.
Backstage, Kyoko gets in trouble with the producer for changing up the script, and he's like, listen, if you pull that again, we're going to take you off the show. Kyoko wonders why, despite her best efforts, Sho is coming off looking better than before. And she's the one who's getting in trouble and, like, might get fired from the show if something doesn't change.
You're totally changing the format of a show live, girl. Obviously, it's your bad.
Yeah, I mean, this is like an insane thing to do, but she's like, why am I getting in trouble? They're still on break, and Kyoko is forced to serve tea to Sho, which she hates doing. Sho sees that it's the chicken serving him and asks the chicken if they're a boy or a girl, and Kyoko does not answer. Because of this, Sho just tries to pull off the mascot head so he can see for himself, but he isn't able to like get it all the way off, and Kyoko starts to like wrestle with him as they try to as he tries to take the head off. She's like pecking him to death, and they spill it on the floor, and she ends up on top of him in like what would be a romantic pose where she's like pinning him to the ground.
Yep.
Except she's wearing a giant chicken suit, and also she hates him. Kyoko can't get up because of the giant chicken suit. It's like unwieldy, so she starts like flapping her wings, trying to like shift her weight. But she can't do it, and Sho pushes her away by putting his hand on her chest in the exact same place where her, like, boob would be, so it's kind of like he's feeling her out. He comments that normally it's guys in these suits because, like, any woman that would get in a mascot suit must not be attractive enough to just be on TV themselves, and Kyoko gets pissed. We get a cut to Kyoko in a cage because she's been banned from the set because apparently she tried to choke Sho after he said that.
She did say she's gonna kill him.
She did say she's gonna kill him. Kyoko is angry that she got in trouble and then banned from the set, even though the second time that she had a scuffle with Sho, it was his fault. She didn't even do anything. But she figures that it's just the way how things work because he's a famous celebrity and she's an upstart and has no clout. So you just need to have clout in order to, like, get away with stuff. Otherwise, you'll get blamed for everything. She resolves to become a celebrity in her own right as she watches Sho do the part of the show where he gives a concert, because this is still like a music-themed show after all. The show ends without any further incident. Kyoko leaves but is depressed that she was the one that got banned from the show. Despite the fact that she hates Sho, she actually thought he looked kind of cool when he was giving on his concert, which annoys her that she even thinks that, and she's like bashing her head against the wall.
Now
being
it's
like, what is wrong with me?
Chicken suits, shaped holes in the walls.
Yes. After the show, Sho tries to figure out who was in the chicken suit, but nobody knows because Kyoko was a last-minute replacement for the normal actor. He thinks to himself that it doesn't matter if Kyoko's trying to catch up with him in showbiz because she'll never make it ahead of him. We come back to Kyoko, who's lost, making her way through this building. She tries to figure out where she is, and she runs into Ren Saruga, who's looking rather sad, sitting by himself. She wonders why he's looking so sad, but decides that she should leave because she doesn't want him figuring out that she's in a chicken suit. She tries to sneak away, but her feet makes these big squishy sounds because she's in a mascot costume. When she walks, so he immediately notices her. He looks over at the mascot and is relieved and asks if the mascot can possibly help him out. Kyoko tries to get away, but she's also intrigued as to what Ren could possibly want from a mascot. She disguises her voice and says that she'll try to help him out. And he asks her for a cell phone because he didn't bring his. And she's like, actually, I don't have my cell phone either. And he goes back to being sad. She asks him why, like, he doesn't just borrow his manager's phone. And Ren's like, oh, yeah, well, my manager has a phone, but it's in the shop today, which is an extremely funny thing to say. Did people used to send their phones to the shop? I guess so. It's just like, oh, his phone is in the shop. The past. She tries to think of herself why he would want to borrow a stranger's phone when it's not like he'd have like anybody's number saved in like a stranger's phone or anything. And then she looks down to see that there's a script next to him. She pieces together that the reason he needs a phone is so that he can use the like dictionary or search function built into it because he needs to look up a word that he doesn't know. She asks him if he needs a phone to look up a word he doesn't know, and that's why he needs help, and he immediately denies it with a pleasant smile, and she looks at that and says, aha, that's the smile you give to people when you're lying to them. Because you're embarrassed that you don't know a word in your script. And Ren's like, nope, that's definitely not what's happening. And she's like, oh, it certainly is. I know it because, well, she doesn't say this, but she knows it because this is the thing that he said to her last episode about having to deny anything that's embarrassing. Otherwise, people will start rumors about them. Kyoko keeps pressing him on his fake ass smile. And then Ren suddenly gets very serious and she thinks that she's pissed him off. But instead, he says that he's like, how could you tell that I was lying? She feels bad that she made him mad and starts apologizing, saying that she only said all that stuff because she kind of hates him for that. But sorry anyway. Ren sees her apologize and thinks it's funny and starts laughing. And she's like, oh, you're not mad? And he's like, nah, I can't be mad at somebody who would like genuinely apologize to me like that. It's also kind of funny to hear somebody tell me that they hate me to my face instead of just doing a bunch of backhanded compliments or whatever like people normally do. Kyoko thinks that maybe she's misjudged Ren and maybe he's like a lot more mature than she thought. And she starts to think back to the conversation they had earlier where she denied being dumped by Sho and like being tricked by Sho, and thinks to herself that maybe she should try to atone for like being rude to him earlier by helping him out here. So she tries to convince Ren to let her help him. Ren relents and lets Kyoko help him out, but he still doesn't know that she's in the chicken costume, so he thinks just some chicken man is helping him. He explains the problem, which is that the script got changed last minute, and now he has to say a different line than he had before, but he doesn't know like exactly what to do here. He says that the line he has to say is in response to somebody saying that they were dancing to somebody else's tune. And his response is to say that that must have been rough. But his issue is that he doesn't know how to deliver the line because he doesn't know what kind of tune that person was having to dance to. Like, was it jaunty or was it like frantic? Like, depending on what it was, I'm going to have to say it different. Kyoko finds all of this extremely funny because he doesn't understand that that's like a phrase. This is like a Japanese phrase that he just doesn't get. I guess because he's lived overseas.
They use like a different word.
Yeah.
So it's not as apparent as it is here. But yeah, it's a funny misunderstanding.
Yeah, because I guess Ren has been out of the country for a while. She bursts into laughter and Ren gets embarrassed. She apologizes, said that this is a phrase, but before she can explain what the phrase means, a door opens and some lights pour out from like a stage where somebody's on stage doing a thing. And she's reminded of the performance of Sho on the TV show that she was just on. And because she remembered something about Sho, she gets sidetracked and thinks that she always loses focus whenever Sho comes up. And it pisses her off because she like can't do her like normal job whenever she thinks about him.
I think that when the door opens, there's like a chick on stage and then it starts playing music like the opening song. So I think they must have inserted whoever the person who sings the opening song for this anime as a character in the show in that moment as like a little
that's cute
cameo. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
That's really fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Kyoko once again falls to her knees, having been reminded of Sho. And Ren's like, hey, bud, you okay? And she makes up some excuse saying that she just gets lightheaded. And Ren's like, yeah, of course you're getting lightheaded. You're wearing this chicken outfit for too long. Here, let me take the head off for you. And she's like, no, don't take this chicken head off. I actually got fired today, and I want to wear this chicken outfit for as long as I can. Ren says that if you get too attached to a job, you're never going to make it big. And she's like, oh, well, I mean, that's easy for you to say. I bet you never got fired from a job. And Ren's like, oh, no, I got fired from like a ton of jobs when I was starting out for like not following directions and like ignoring the director. And he like lists about a bunch of times he got fired. Kyoko was like, oh, wait, this was like hard for you at the beginning? And Ren's like, yeah, it is like that. And then she asked him why he never talks about it. Like, I bet if he went on a TV show and talked about how hard it was starting out, like, that would definitely be a good interview. Ren just kind of shrugs, and she's like, what, were you trying to, like, save face so you could make it big in Hollywood or something? And he just kind of shrugs again, because, yep, he spent a lot of time in America, was going to Hollywood, and he's, like, a big shot actor. And that annoys her that he's being so, like, stuck up, or, like, proud of himself.
She's basically saying, weird. I would think that a big actor like you would, if you had struggled so much, that would have come out now that you had a past like that. So why hasn't that? And then she's like, well, maybe you weren't. Basically saying, oh, were you trying to be an actor in Hollywood and not here in Japan? And that's why we don't know about that here. And then he shrugs, doing an American gesture to kind of like be like, oh, you got me. Kind of deflecting like he did when she asked how he knew about Kyoto. So he just deflects a lot because she's very easily distracted.
I see. I watched this scene 3 times and I still didn't really understand it. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. Some things I feel like maybe the author relies on a lot more, or especially with the script thing. There seems to be a lot of Japanese-based references that aren't as clear when it's translated and stuff. So it kind of goes over our head a lot. So it's not. I guess everything is more complex that's being covered in the show, anyways, than like a normal shoujo. Because it's people and industry and then stories within these things they're acting out. So it's like a lot of different moving pieces to keep track of.
Yeah, well, it's like, if you were like a Japanese actor and you want to go to like Hollywood, is that like the equivalent of you like selling out? Like, I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, what is the implication of that?
Think that Japan, like being big in Japan, you're only big in Japan versus if you're big in the United States, then you're like known worldwide. So I think that would be like a more coveted thing, is to be an actor in America rather than here.
But like, is there like if you're like aiming to be that, is that like,
I don't.
What is that looked at like upon as? You know what I mean?
I don't think that's been implied in the show at all. I don't know if that's the case in reality, but the show doesn't seem to make it seem that way.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kyoko leaves and she wanders around some more and finally finds her bag and is about to like leave the set. But then she runs into Red, who comes up and says, "Thank you, Chicken Man, for helping me with my lines today." And she is impressed that he would thank somebody so genuinely. She starts to think that maybe she was wrong about him and maybe she got to know him better. She would like him more. And also maybe she should have thanked him because she doesn't feel so depressed about show anymore. She heads home with resolve that she will do her best even if she gets hired or even if she gets fired from some things, because that's just how it is as we cut to credits. These are so long. I'm going to blast through it. Okay, skip beat stage 12 is called Her Open Wound. We open on Kyoko coming out of the set of the TV show still dressed as Bo the Chicken because she's been made a regular on the show, as the hosts explain that they got such an outpouring of support for Bo on episode 1 that they demanded her come back. The producer still doesn't like her, though, because of what she did in the first episode, so he just ignores her all the time, and she resolves that she will become so good and important that even he cannot ignore her any longer as we play the opening. We cut to Kyoko walking in the LME lobby, like not dressed as a chicken anymore, she's just normal, thinking that she needs to prepare for tomorrow, when she catches sight of Ren Saruga walking in. She thinks to herself that if she dressed up like Bo the Chicken, she would run up and tell him that they made him a regular, and Ren would probably be happy for him, or for her. But she's not, so she's not going to do that. She thinks to herself that she does want to thank him for like helping her out, getting her confidence back and stuff. And maybe because she likes, she's like seeing him being a cool guy instead of being a jerk when she's dressed up as the chicken, that maybe she would want to spend some time with him or something. And maybe like he isn't so bad. While she's thinking this, Ren turns and makes eye contact with her and then starts beelining towards her. She gets freaked out because he has the smile on his face that he always has when he's like secretly angry about something. And she starts to very quickly walk the other way so that he's just like chasing after her as they both are like fast walking down the hallway. She tries to retreat into the girl's bathroom before she can make it. Ren catches her up to her and is like, "Oh, pretty rude for you to run away after you make eye contact." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, sorry." And he's like, "I bet you're thinking that I'm like a pretty lighthearted because I'm just like all good, that I'd come greet you after you were so mean to me the last time you saw me." And she's like, "That's not what I'm thinking." And he's like, And she's like, "All right, yeah, I was thinking that." Because I guess he just came to tease her for this. He just like came up to her and like mess with her.
Yeah.
Ren's manager, Yashiro, sees this and he's like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah,
Ren makes some excuse.
In the manga, he really plays it up like, "What are you doing? Why are you harassing a girl in front of the woman's bathroom? The woman's bathroom!" And
yeah.
like, horrified.
Ren makes some excuse about how he's like teaching her how to greet people properly or something, and Yashiro is just like, all right, well, you need to not do that in front of the women's bathroom.
Yep.
They all walk to the parking lot together. Kyoko wonders why Ren keeps teasing her all the time, even though he was serious with her when she was Bo the chicken. Why is he different when I'm a woman? The guys ask Kyoko why she's here, and she says that she's doing a job for the Love Me section and does not want to tell them about being a chicken. And then they ask her why she's not wearing her Love Me uniform, and she says that it's kind of embarrassing, so she doesn't really want to like stand out when she's just walking around. Ren then corrects her, saying that she should want to stand out at a TV set because that would land you better jobs in the future if people can like remember who you are. If you want to be successful in showbiz, you should try to stand out as much as possible. And Kyoko thinks that he's trying to give her some advice, and that's actually kind of nice for him to do. Ren and Yashiro give Kyoko a ride home, and during it, she tells him that she's actually going to try out for an audition for a commercial tomorrow. Ren tells her that she's definitely going to try to stick out tomorrow if she wants to like land that role, so she should prepare to do that. And then he tells her to do her best as he drives off. It's the next day, and Kyoko goes to the audition. On the way up, she sees one of the actresses get comforted by one of her friends and thinks to herself how she wishes she had friends growing up but didn't because of show. Yeah. Then she thinks about how maybe Moko could have been her friend, except like recently she's been avoiding her nonstop, so I guess that's not happening. She gets to the door of the audition and pauses for a second to think about what she's gonna do. And right then the door opens and like smashes her in the face and she falls down on the ground. On the other side of the door is a blonde woman who looks at Kyoko on the floor, and Kyoko apologizes, and the blonde woman just turns behind her to tell the person behind her that she should just go home because we all know who has the talent here and who's going to win the audition.
Yeah, in the manga, she's like, "You're welcome for opening the door," like for you. Kyoko immediately gets super mad.
Yeah, Kyoko's pissed because she got ignored, and also this woman just bashed her in the face with the door. And then realizes that the person that the blonde woman is talking to is actually Moko, who's also here for the audition. The blonde woman continues saying that she always gets the main roles while Moko always plays the chump roles, so that's what's just gonna happen this time, so you might as well just give up. We cut to this blonde chick being served by like 3 handsome butlers because I guess she's like a rich popular girl named Erica, which is like a European name, which is also interesting. Some of the other actresses comment that they've seen her before and that she's the daughter of some famous CEO. Kyoko wonders what's up with this chick and Moko, and we get a flashback of Moko telling Erica that she has talent in acting when nobody else is around, and Erica's like, oh, what do you mean by that? And it doesn't really seem like Kyoko really knows what that means either. Yeah. She's like, what? Like the back and forth, like basically the response is, oh, you're just good at acting when no one else is around. It was like, what the hell does that mean? Then Kyoko gets annoyed that Moko didn't say hi to her, even though they're like, she's the closest thing she has to a friend. And she's like, hey, how come you didn't say hi to me? Your best friend. And Moko's like, why are you saying you're my best friend? You're not my best friend. You're like my rival at best. So I'm ignoring you. Kyoko is like, why would we be rivals with me? We're like best buds. We're both in the Love Me section. And Moko is like, I'm not being best buds with you. Nearby, Erica hears this, that like Moko considers Kyoko her rival and suddenly takes an interest in her. And her butlers comment on how Kyoko looks like she's poor and is not very impressive, which also pisses Kyoko off more.
Yeah, they really dig into this in the manga where it's like, it's clearly she carries this bag every single day. Can you believe it? Like, oh, it's really funny.
She's only got one bag.
Yeah.
The audition starts, but the director isn't there. Kyoko comments that it's not very encouraging, but Moko counters that this actually may be like good because it'll make the first round something that's actually fair. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Erica bounces up and introduces herself as the first person in the audition, and she like pirouettes and does some ballet moves, saying that she does stuff like this. And also, she's part of the
Koenji?
Yeah.
Koenji or something.
Koenji. Okay, great. The dictation said this is the Koenjo group, so that's not right. Basically, like, she's part of some famous company.
Yeah. The daughter of the CEO. Not that she works there.
Yeah, which is her dad's company. And she promises that the group's name will be on their new product if they hire her, and it'll make it a big hit. So basically, she's just bribing the judges right out the gate. Kyoko and Moko see this, and Moko's like, yep, there she goes again. This is what she always does. And Kyoko's like, she just relies on her family name and not on like any talent for doing anything. And Moko comments that this is business and this is just how it works, I guess.
Yep.
They turn back to see that all the judges have basically completely on board with being bribed. And so I guess that's that. But then all the other actresses in the audition get pissed off and start a ruckus. And it all breaks out while Moko and Kyoko just kind of sit there. We cut to some guy walking up to the building they're in, and it's clearly the director who's showing up late as all the other actresses are like leaving for like the end of the first round. They all feel okay about the performance because I guess the first round actually did end up happening. So, they got to do their stuff. And he comes into the break room where we find a sulking Moko and Kyoko. We get a flashback to the first round of the audition where the proctor introduces the theme for the first round, which is like a Q&A section over everybody's sparkling youthful memories, because that is like related to the ad campaign, which is like for some sparkling water or something. So I guess it's like youth water. Remember the good times. I don't know. When they ask Kyoko about her sparkling youth memories, she answers that honestly, saying that she doesn't have any sparkling childhood memories anymore because her entire life became crashing down 2 months ago. But then she feels like an idiot for telling the truth. She's like, why didn't I just make something up?
Only been 2 months. Wild.
It's only been 2 months.
Making progress quick.
It's so funny to be like, you're at like a job interview and they're like, oh, what are some memories from your childhood? And you're like, oh yeah, my life like totally fell apart 2 months ago. So I don't know. Moko's answer was to talk about how she was the lead role in a play in the 3rd grade. And Kyoko comments that she said this in a way that didn't seem very happy at all when she said it. Kyoko asks Moko if she's like given up on making it to the second round because it seems like she doesn't like try very hard after that moment. And Moko says that she's already knows how it's going to end, so there's really no point. Kyoko's like, you don't know how it's going to end. Also, the director wasn't even there for the first round, so like there's still plenty of opportunities to impress them. And then Moko explains that Erica has had it out for her ever since she beat her for the lead role in the 3rd grade play that she mentioned earlier. And every audition they've had since then, she's made it so that Moko gets eliminated in the first round every time. So much so that she wasn't even allowed in the drama club. Yeah. She's like, I couldn't even be in drama club. She kicked me out of that too.
Yeah, they show more montage like with imagery in the manga where it's like she's basically just pretending to be uninterested in acting so that Erica will get off her and stop tuning into what she's doing so she could actually act without worrying about her interfering. So
yeah,
Erica thinks she hasn't been acting up to this point. And then she blames her like for her bad middle school because she followed Moko because she wanted to, I don't know, she's freaking following her instead of going to the school she should have gone to. She like went to a worse one for the sake of pestering this one chick.
Obsessed. It's bad.
Freaking annoying.
Kyoko protests, saying that, she can still impress the judges, and then Moko tells her that money is the only thing that makes the world go round, and thus she knows that the director will just get bought off, so there's nothing she can do, so it's basically already over. The director, who's in disguise, is sitting right there listening to all of this, and he is shocked when Kyoko stands up and slaps Moko and tells her that if she really thinks that money is more valuable than her talent, do you really believe that? Kyoko tells her that she can't give up because she hasn't even tried everything yet. She needs to try everything. And she's like, when I first joined LME, I got eliminated first round, but I kept on trying and now I'm here. You can keep on doing it, because she is echoing the lines from Chef Boss. Chef Boss.
Taisho.
He's here. In the words of Kyoko. Moko realizes that Kyoko is right. She's never really fought for herself before, and she gets it in her head that if she can fight, then maybe she could act all she wants to and doesn't have to pretend like she doesn't want to avoid Erica.
And then the glimmer of hope is beaming.
Yeah. She turns to Kyoko and is like, maybe I should fight. How do I do it? What do I do? And Kyoko realizes that she doesn't actually have an answer for what she should do. She's just like saying this because this is what Chef Boss told her.
Mm-hmm.
Kyoko thinks about the advice that Ren gave her earlier, that she should try standing out as much as possible. She turns to Moko and says, listen, I know how we can stand out in a way that everybody will remember us. And Moko realizes what she's saying and is like, you can't be serious. And Kyoko's like, oh, I'm deadly serious. As they run out of the room. Meanwhile, the director says to himself, or thinks to himself, he wonders what they're going to do. Elsewhere, Ren is sitting on a set for some kind of film shoot, and the actress approaches him, apologizes, saying that she's like holding them all up because she can't get the scene right. Ren comforts her, telling her that she shouldn't be so worried. And Yashiro sees this and is like, he's always so nice to people that are like trying their best. But also the things Ren are saying are extremely corny, and he can't believe anybody could really buy this.
Yeah, it's bad.
He goes over to talk to Ren and tells him, or like asks him why he was being so nice to Kyoko before. And Ren doesn't seem to like realize that he was being nice to Kyoko. And Yashiro tells him that it's probably because she's trying so hard. Like, you always like people who try hard. Ren thinks to himself and says that Kyoko isn't trying hard because she wants to make it in showbiz, because her motivations are bad. And Yashiro does not really understand what this means. And Ren tells him that it's a good reminder that he should not be too nice to her in the future, and walks off.
Oh, man. Poor Yashiro is like, I didn't mean it like that.
This guy.
He's determined in his own way to be faithful.
It's the next day of the audition, and Moko and Kyoko have shown up in their Love Me uniforms, and everybody thinks it's weird. Kyoko tells her that they're in this together, and they're going to beat Erika together, and they'll make it through this as a team. And Moko's like, how can we be a team? This audition is only for one person. And Kyoko seems to just realize this for the first time, but she's like, it's okay, because if I lose to you, then I know I will have tried my best and it'll be fine. Because she has the warrior spirit.
It's funny because in the background, when it like dawns on Kyoko, it also dawns on those two girls we saw earlier who are clearly friends auditioning in this. And they're like, oh my God, we didn't realize either.
Moko feels better about taking on Erika now that she doesn't feel like she has to do it alone. Erika shows up and sees the two girls wearing their outfits, and she's like, what is wrong with you two? And then she goes on a rant about how much Moko ruined her life ever since the third grade and all that other stuff. In another room, the director announces a change to the commercial and that they're going to change the way they're going to do casting. We cut back to the girls as Moko tells Erika that yes, she did ruin her life in the third grade, but don't worry about it because it will all come to an end today. She's going to set her free while her and Kyoko radiate energetic hate as we cut to credits.
Well, they changed. The director says they're now going to be they're going to have two actresses.
They're going to be casting two. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're changing like the commercial setup. So they can make it as a duo now. I'm so sorry that was so long. Listeners, I am sorry that it took me so long to say. Dictation is crazy. This was a little more than 6,000 words. So.
Oh my God.
Listen, I was in the hospital, okay?
Yes.
Or I was in the outpatient surgery building a day ago. Cut me some slack.
No worries. And yeah, the next few episodes are going to be good. I really like this little arc of the audition. It's good. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. So still liking the show?
Yeah, we get the Moko arc, which is great because I love Moko. She's great.
Yeah, we'll learn more about her as well. This is just kind of the letting Kyoko in after like a month of ignoring her.
Once again, Kyoko gets to bond with somebody by being a hater. She's like, we could destroy your like cartoonish childhood bully. Who cares? Whatever. We'll fuck her up. It's fine.
Yeah, I like them as a duo. They're good.
Yes, I'm still on board for the like she's put into the love me section, and that mostly involves her doing jobs about like being cantankerous with people and like
it's really just stoking the fires of her hate.
Yes.
So good. I love this
it is
series.
Apparently still the emotional labor department, which is pretty funny.
I know, that's like when you see people referring like, oh, why pay for a therapist when I could just like unload on my one friend and not pay them?
Oh yeah.
We did start this conversation.
I know.
Thanks for the free emotional labor.
Sure.
Oh man, so good.
But yeah, I guess being Bo the chicken is just like a normal request. Like, hey, be a chicken stand-in.
Yeah, so she's a regular on that show. I wonder how much. She probably does not make that much, but by viewer demand, she was brought back onto the show despite the producer hating her.
Which is very funny. It's very funny to be like, we love the thing where she played badminton with the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I would also love that. Can you imagine if you like this probably happened. I don't watch variety shows, but like
I do
want to watch like a Hugh Jackman play like a soccer with a big mascot or something. Like that would be funny.
Yeah, that does sound fun. Oh,
right.
Sorry, I had a little internet drop
You're
for
good.
a second there.
So that's pretty good, but this doesn't help. I mean, she's wearing a mascot costume. Oh, you there?
Yep, I am now.
Okay.
Although my computer is possessed and keeps trying to open Streamlabs. This has happened in the past. I don't know why this happens sometimes. It like really wants me to log in. Nope, internet. Boo. Yeah.
Doesn't help raise her notoriety.
Oh my god, my computer's
become famous.
Possessed. Stop it, Elgato. I think it's my Steam Deck tries to log in to. That's so annoying. Okay. Anyways.
Steam Deck.
Yeah,
okay.
or my Stream Deck. My Elgato one.
Yep. Like, but yeah, she's on TV now. I mean, we can't see who she is, so this doesn't help her career, but she gets to be on TV.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a big deal being a regular on a TV series. It's just that she doesn't get to promote her face or name doing it.
Right. Nobody knows it's her.
But it's good for her resume or her portfolio. Yeah. Joe, can you hear me?
What?
God
Are
dang
you gone? Are you dead?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Pour one out for Shoujo host Sarah. One day, I can't hear you. One day,
okay,
we'll appear back for. She's a ghost for the Halloween episode.
Can you hear me?
She's fading in and out of reality. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. God, what is happening? My computer is possessed.
Oh, you cut out just there. Oh, no.
Okay.
Ooh. I wonder if Skip Beat's going to have any, like, holiday specials, like,
should continue.
Like how Kimi Todoke had some Christmas episodes. I hope it does.
Any other thoughts or predictions?
I was just saying that I hope that they have some holiday specials in this show.
Oh. I don't know that there's a dedicated Christmas episode. It is shoujo though, so obviously Valentine's Day will be a thing at some point, but
yay!
I don't think you get to see it in the anime.
Okay, that's fine.
I feel like the manga or the anime probably goes to like the first maybe. What?
You might have zoned out again.
God dang it! Okay, we gotta wrap this. We're gonna expedite this. Okay, recommendations.
Okay, we're moving along. Sorry for my recommendations. You recommend something. I don't have anything.
I am going to recommend the book Pachinko, which is now a show on Apple TV. I think that is well received, even though I haven't watched it because I don't have Apple TV. But it's let's see who writes this book. Min Jin Lee is the author, but basically it's like the premise is this. It's like maybe the early 1900s or something, but this young girl like lives in Korea back when it's just one Korea, and she's just kind of like doing her thing, working for her mom at an inn, and they're just barely scraping by. She ends up kind of getting seduced by this older businessman. She gets knocked up and then is freaking out kind of, and then this random nice dude offers to like pretend to be the dad of the child, and he's like an officer, or he like has to go work in Japan because I guess this is when Japan starts occupying Korea at the time. And so she moves to Japan, and all the Japanese people are really mean to them because they're Korean. And it kind of goes through a few decades, so we even get to like she ends up having that kid, and they end up having another, and they like survive the freaking bombing and kind of the fallout of that, and just like what it's like being a Korean in Japan at the time. They're treated very badly, and Pachinko comes in at some point, which is like a casino game or something. But it's really cool. I like it a lot. It's kind of, it's not the most upbeat, like happy book, but it is interesting and a good read. And read it and then check out the TV show if you have Apple TV, because apparently it's really good. And that's my recommendation. Joe, go.
I'm recommending a movie I watched like 2 days ago. I'm going to recommend They Live, which is a sci-fi action horror film by John Carpenter from 1988. There's a lot of famous lines and scenes from it, so you may have seen some stuff before. It's about a drifter. Let me just read the little thing. The film follows a drifter who discovers through special sunglasses that the ruling class or aliens concealed their appearance and manipulating people to consume, breed, and conform to the status quo via subliminal messages and mass media. It's very ridiculous. It's like a very goofy movie.
Yeah.
It's got Roddy Piper and Keith David in it. It's very fun. It's not super long. It's like an hour and a half.
Keith David, isn't that the guy who voices Captain Anderson in Mass Effect?
Yes, Keith David does a lot of voice acting. And has also just been in a lot of stuff. Like a ton of stuff. Mm-hmm. He's the bad guy in The Princess and the Frog. Yeah, so very fun, very good movie. It's like goofy. It's like ridiculous. They got some really good line reads in it. They have a very long action scene where Roddy Piper and Keith David fight each other in like an alleyway. That's like ridiculous and over the top. It's great. Okay. So yeah, it's horror season. So watch some. This isn't like a scary movie. It's not even really that much of a horror movie. I guess it's just in that genre kind of. Yeah. But you should watch it anyway. Okay. They Live and Pachinko are recommendations this week. That's right.
Cool. Okay. Freaking leave us a review.
5 stars. Give us 5 stars. Please rate us 5 stars. It's important. Also, tell all your friends about this. Tell your friends you love Skip Beat. I think you're watching along, or you're just listening to me. At this point, you can just listen to me recap, because I'm recapping like line per line, because I'm an insane person. I will fix that in the future. Once again, sorry about the dictation. But, you should watch the show, and you should tell people to watch the show, and they should listen to this while they're watching the show.
Yep.
It's like a fun way to break things up.
Yeah, you can even pretend to be a ghost in your review if you want. Just as long as it's 5
give
stars.
Us a spooky review.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Do it. Pretty please, people. It really boosts my spirits. Yeah, Get it? Spirits. Get a review. Come on.
Your reviews tether me to the physical plane, and thus I will not pass away and will remain a ghost for as long as possible.
Don't force us to start playing this at the beginning of the episode where you're actually listening. We're being nice right now, putting it at the end. We could be trying more. Nice.
We could be trying more.
We're just having fun and hoping people have fun listening without having to do that much hustling in the podcasting realm. Chartable is closing down, so I don't know how I'm going to check our ranking now. I guess I'll have to do it individually.
We're going to have to rank it ourselves.
Number 1.
I decide the rank.
Yeah, maybe we need to start networking with other little podcasts some more. I freaking played with Tooth and Claw, so if I could force them to do an anime episode on a Patreon or something.
The show about animal attacks? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We gotta find a animal attack somewhere in the history of anime. And then we can cover that.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I gotta do the research.
Gotta do the research.
Oh, man. Yeah, okay. Well, so that's our show. Sorry for the internet hiccup. We'll see how
also internet
incoherent
hiccup.
That is.
This episode kind of a mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's what you show up for. That's what you love. You love if everything when it's not like we're like This American Life or whatever, right? Like you really want to listen to that?
No, we're here. You don't know what you're gonna get.
You want to listen to your 2 messy friends, Joe and Sarah, talk about a show for like an hour and a half because talk about 3 episodes.
It is getting longer. Our show's getting longer.
Okay. Yeah.
It's wild. We only did 2 episodes for Angelic Layer.
Those were so long though. Like again, these summaries have been long just because I had to dictate it. But like normally the Skip Beat ones aren't as bad.
Yeah.
I look back at the Angelic Layer like file sizes and they're enormous.
I know, and that's when I was like neurotically editing it by hand the entire time. So But yeah, I mean, at least if we do 3 instead of 2, we get to cover more series more quickly.
Yeah. Well, these are also good, like, arc based. I mean,
yeah,
we've had the problem where, like, the arcs keep beginning and ending, like, not at the 3 mark.
You guys are just dying to hear our thoughts on what happens with this audition. You'll just have to stay tuned.
Like, yeah, well, it's just like because we had to finish the Maria stuff, so we had a little conversation about that during the summary, and then we did the entire show I'm a Chicken arc, where we had a little conversation about that, and then we have the beginning of this next arc that isn't finished yet, and we had to talk about that. So, like, you know, we have to talk about 3 different arcs in this one episode.
I don't know if I call the chicken one an arc. It's just more like
it's like a mini arc.
Well, it's between arcs. Does everything have to be an arc, or is it just a buffer between the next one?
Okay, I guess it's a buffer. I don't know.
It was like 1.5 episode.
1.5 episodes. That's like 5 chapters.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. God, I really recommend everyone check out the manga. It really, I feel like the humor is so good in the manga. Like the scene where she sees Ren pick up the stone and she's like on the ground. She like has her arms stretch out and then like slingshots herself up to him to get to corn the rock faster. Like it's fine in the anime, but the author is so good at making it so funny in the manga. It's So Joe, you should definitely check it out. I guess if you come visit, you can just read the entire series somehow.
Ooh, that's true.
Binge read it.
We'll probably do some cleanup of some of these shows to like read the manga through it. Like we should probably read the rest of Kimi to Todoke at some point. I'll read Beat at some point.
I'm just I gotta buy it. I'm a maniac. I don't want to. Like
it's on Viz. You can get a Viz subscription.
I've already bought the first 2 volumes of Kimi to Todoke. I must finish the series.
2 volumes. It's
not
like nothing.
In stores anymore. So
don't just get a digital subscription is way cheaper, and you can like read it all in like 1 month. It's fine.
No, you're the one telling me to get physical copies of things.
That's for like TV shows and stuff.
I don't know.
Because they keep taking them off. I mean, I get, well, you can buy, I don't know, can you buy like a digital copy of a manga that you can like download and save yourself?
I don't know.
Are they all subscription services now? I don't know. Listen, you can get whatever you want on the internet. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So do what you got to do to preserve media and also, pay for stuff when you can.
Yeah, I know. Sarah, have some self-control. I cannot go to conventions anymore. I seriously, it's a problem.
Banned from conventions.
For sure. Oh my God. Okay, well, I hope everyone's having a good start to your October. Be sure to eat all the pumpkin scones and pumpkin bread. So good. It's Han Solo season where all the girls wear their riding boots with leggings and their long sleeves with their little vests. So look forward to that.
I don't think I've seen anybody wear that.
Okay, maybe that's only on college campuses. Also, it's too hot here. It simply cannot happen yet at this time.
Tough.
Yeah. Oh, man. Don't worry, guys. Wow. You're going to be like, wow, Sarah sounds like a new person now that the temperature's dropped. It's going to happen. I'm going to be like, oh my God, life is so wonderful. And this is
going to be so different.
Yeah. Oh, just a few more weeks. Oh my God, Veilguard comes out soon. Ah! And Life is Strange. The next one comes out. Okay. I have a lot to look forward to the next few months.
That's good. My finger will be normal soon, so I'm looking forward to that.
I don't think so. Apparently it's not normal. It's pointy in there.
That's just because I have pointy bones. I've always had pointy bones. Listen, it's fine.
You're not like slicing yourself open from the inside?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Okay. Well.
Anyway,
what's our parting message?
Don't
give out advice without solutions.
Nah, that works out. It actually works out for you can give out advice for that. Just like wing everything. Just never think about anything.
Don't
just
name your
become very
corn.
Memorable. Don't name your children corn. Oh my God. If you're gonna come up with an alias for yourself, pick something better than corn.
Oh my God.
You could have been like Shadow Man. Or like
she was a child.
Or like I mean, pick a better like food item. He could have been like flour, or like pear. Is that better? Pear?
No.
Is that better than corn?
No, not really.
What about persimmon?
Sure, that's better. They call him Simmons. Simmons. Is that from Spider-Man?
What?
Simmons. That's the guy from Spider-Man. He's like the jackass boss at the Bugle or whatever, right? No, that's the actor.
Wait.
What's the actor's name?
You're talking about J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah. Who's the actor that plays him? That's what I'm thinking of. J.K. Simmons?
In the new ones? Oh, J.K. Simmons. in the Sam. Yeah, the old ones. Oh man.
Okay.
What a good cast.
How the mind works. I think he voices the character in the video game.
He does a ton of voices. That doesn't surprise me.
He's good.
He's Cave Johnson in Portal.
Everyone! Vox Machina season 3 the first 3 episodes are out, and I like them so far because there's lots more romantic elements, and I'm like, hyped! Woo!
Yay!
Okay. All right. Bye.
Finished. Bye.